I pity the fool who's been betting against the New York Knicks. Hey, wait a minute. That's me. I've been betting against the New York Knicks in both games, in fact, but I cashed in with the right side in both the first two games of the NBA Finals. Just how did I do that? Well, we're going to talk about it. Let's get right into it. The Knicks will be a 2.5-point favorite in Game 3. The total sits at 216.5. Of course, the Spurs lost 105 to 104 in Game 2. They're down 0-2 in the series, heading to New York for Game 3. The Spurs shot 47% from the field, 38% from beyond the arc in Game 2, and that comes after they shot just 36% from the field and 26% from beyond the arc in Game 1. And after Game 1, I said, as much as it is terrible as it is, they can only go up from here. They should be better in Game 2 than they were in Game 1, and they certainly did shoot the ball better, but it wasn't enough. The Spurs, though, they did lead by double digits in both games, and as much as you could say I'm not going to debate that the better team didn't win. The Spurs certainly had a chance to win both games, and a couple of things breaking differently. The Spurs could be up 2-0 heading to New York, but they're not. And, when I mentioned that I was on the right side of both of the first two games of this series, I know there's going to be a long list of people in the comments. Oh, you were wrong about this and that. And, occasionally I am wrong about a few things. But as far as the actual sides that I gave my clients and gave you guys in these videos, it was Spurs first half in Game 1 and Spurs first quarter in Game 2. And both of those cashed relatively easily, is what it is. That said, I do have Spurs futures that don't look quite as nice. The Knicks came back from a double-digit deficit late in Game 1. The Spurs just failed to come back late in Game 2. Wemby, 26 points and 12 rebounds in Game 2. In Game 1, 26 and 12. In Game 2, he had 29 and 9, had a big second half in Game 2, which is a good sign. And the Spurs had a big second half. So perhaps a little bit of momentum if you want to see things through rose-colored glasses. And you know I do. Fox, 20 points on 8 of 12 from the field. Unfortunately for the Spurs, the bench continues to be an issue. It was an issue in the Western Conference Finals as well. Aside from Dylan Harper, the rookie, nobody's really doing anything. Now, Keldon Johnson did play a solid role in the Western Conference Finals. I have some optimism that he could get involved a little bit, but we know the bench is not the strength for the Spurs. And let's talk about where I went wrong, because I know everybody in the comment section wants to hear me. I had somebody say in the last video, own up to your bad picks. Now, just because you lose a bet doesn't mean it was a bad pick. Let's clarify that right off the top. And what did I do wrong heading into this series? Perhaps I underestimated the Spurs' youth and their lack of experience. Now, coming off the Western Conference Finals, winning a Game 7 on the road, showing me what they showed me on the road to the finals, that's what caused me to overlook their youth. But certainly that inexperience has reared its ugly head here in the finals, and I'll own up to perhaps downplaying that a little bit. But the fact that they won Game 7 on the road, the fact that they overcame adversity to get to this point gives me a little bit of faith. Can the Spurs come back? And I will say that San Antonio in the regular season was the best team in the NBA coming off of a loss. They had a record of 19-9 against the spread coming off a loss in the regular season. I do believe it is possible for San Antonio to come back. We'll talk about the New York Knicks, but before we do, let's get to a few comments and promotions we have at WagerTalk. Let's start it off with a comment. This guy says, Sly's brother, I challenge you to a bench press competition, and when I win, I get to co-host this beautiful show. And I replied, Mr. Dale McAlexander, challenge accepted. Let's iron out the terms. And this is an open invitation. Anybody wants to co-host the show, and you think you can bench press more than my 50-year-old ass, it's 21 reps at NFL Combine weight. Now I realize that there's quite a few people that can probably do that, but they're all probably pretty tough and pretty big because it ain't easy. There's a lot more people that can't do it. So Dale McAlexander, if you think you can do it, hit me up on Twitter with a video of you hitting 21. My video is already up on my YouTube channel. So yeah, that's what you got to do to co-host one of these videos. And anybody else wants to take me up on that, go ahead. Let's get to promotions. The road to football. This is the best deal for the summer. $399 gets you every play in every sport right through till the first week of NFL. And of course, that will get you a couple weeks of college football. For those of you who don't know, I cover every game in week 0 and week 1 here on this channel ahead of the college football season. That will also get you the CFL. I'm the number 1 CFL handicapper since I arrived on the scene in 2021. 60% against the spread, 5 straight winning seasons. We cashed an underdog winning outright in week 1, so perfect heading into week 2. How about the World Cup? Because I was number 1 in the World Cup the last tournament. 15-6 with all my plays. That's 71%. And you can get not just me, but any of the great handicappers at WagerTalk or Picks and Parlays. All access World Cup for $149. If you want the soccer, that's the best way to go. If you're not following me on Twitter, you should be at Jesse Schule. Check out the pinned tweet, an article detailing my big wins in the NBA Finals. And there's been many of them, but it's probably not going to happen this year unless the Spurs find a way to pull this one out of the fire. Let's get back into the video. So the Knicks have won 13 straight games, and surely you know 13 is an unlucky number. But yeah, the Knicks rank first in the playoffs in scoring, averaging 118.1 points per game. They rank first in field goal percentage, 50.1% from the field, 3-point percentage, 39.3% from beyond the arc. However, they were held to a playoff low 105 points in game 1 of this series, and they matched that playoff low in game 2, 105 points. And their leading scorer, Jalen Brunson, just 20 points on 7 of 25 from the field in game 2. Of course, he hurt his ankle and his knee in game 1. Brunson is a tough guy. Brunson will play through pain. And he's not the kind of guy that's going to complain about it either. So how healthy is Jalen Brunson right now? Based on his shooting percentage, you maybe can ask a few questions about that. And can they continue to win if Jalen Brunson is shooting 7 of 25 from the field? Now, I know a lot of you guys are really hyped up on Karl Anthony Towns, and all the power to him. He's having a great series and a great playoffs. I still think the Knicks need Jalen Brunson to close out the San Antonio Spurs. And I think you got to ask yourself, what happens when the Knicks lose again? Perhaps if they sweep the Spurs and they don't lose until next season, it doesn't make a difference. But on this heater that they're on, 13-game win streak, could the wind come out of the sails? It's be like letting the air out of a hot air balloon. If the Knicks were to lose game 3, could that turn the tables? I pose the question. Another question I want to pose is, there's a very high-profile, perhaps unwelcome guest going to be in attendance for Game 3. And I want to be clear, this is not a political opinion. It's got nothing to do with politics. But logistically, I don't think it's a good thing for the home team. Their fans are told they have to show up a couple hours early. They'll be checking bags. It's going to be an inconvenience for the people in New York. It's going to be a distraction. And the kind of role that the Knicks are on, they don't need this crap right now. And I'm sure they're not happy that this is happening. The Knicks, they're in rare company. Now, I bet against the Knicks. I put out a couple videos saying the media is lying to you. And, you know, a lot of you guys will have a good laugh about that now. But one of the reasons why I bet against the Knicks is because the fact that they've won the first 2 games on the road, only 2 teams in the history of the NBA Finals have ever done that. And those 2 teams are Jordan's Bulls in 93 and Akeem Olajuwon's Rockets in 95. And neither of those teams were an underdog. The Bulls were a huge favorite in that series, despite starting it on the road. And the Rockets were basically a pick 'em against the Orlando Magic. So this we're seeing this for the very first time in NBA history, that a team in the position that the Knicks were in heading into this series have won the first two games. Now, is there any historical precedence to come back and come from behind after losing the first two games at home? I don't know that there is, but I can tell you that in the 2016 season, we did see the Golden State Warriors overcome a 3-1 series deficit against the Oklahoma City Thunder, and then blow a 3-1 series lead in the very next series in the finals against LeBron James and the Cleveland Cavaliers. So this 0-2 hole is not it's not impossible for the Spurs to come back. And that brings me to my pick, because that's what everybody wants, I'm sure. The San Antonio Spurs are 6-0 against the spread, and 6-0 straight up in the first quarter when coming off a loss in these playoffs. That was the play in Game 2. That's the play once again here in Game 3. The Spurs are actually priced at -0.5 for the first quarter, despite the fact that they're an underdog for the game. They're actually an ATS favorite for the first quarter in this game. And of course, I'm not going to recommend you lay 0.5 point. So it's Spurs first quarter money line for the free pick for this video. And like I said, I think the officials are going to be all over the Knicks in this game, giving them a hard time as they look to extend this series. And don't be surprised if heading into Game 4, we got a series on our hand. If you like this video, smash that like button, subscribe to this channel, and you got anything to say to me, even if it's nasty, hit me up in the comments below, and I'll get back to you as soon as I can.